Why, hello, peoples! It's Landon here, and happy Halloween. This is the very first Halloween in the house, so I didn't really know what to expect. I've been sitting at home giving chocolate to kids coming and going, and when I was young, you had like 100 kids come to your house, and I don't know if it's just because we now live in the year 2015, or it's because I live on a bay, or what's going on, but I've had 17 kids come to my house, so. Not very many, and I have lots of chocolate left over to bring to work. Hopefully, you guys like my costume. I kind of just went to Value Village and found random stuff. I actually found a costume online that I really liked. That was like a SWAT team costume like this, and it turned out that it was for like 10-year-olds. So I couldn't buy a costume, so I had to like put it together. So I just got like a black shirt, put on some, letters, and this is just a vest. It's actually quite warm. Anywho, which would be perfect if I was like out collecting candy, but I'm 30, so that would be inappropriate. Anyways, so I guess I've been like kind of hinting, things have been like kind of turmoil in my life and whatnot. Um, Derek and I, when the thing is, okay, I guess I never really talked about this, and I should really just put it out in the open because this is kind of like how I feel. So, Derek and I had a relationship for 4 years, and it was, of course, worked out really well, right? I lived in the South End, he lived in Craven. He came to the city to work, I worked in the city, we saw each other, whatever, right? And what happened was Derek got a job in Craven because he's no longer working for the hotel that he was working at in the city. And he really wanted me to move in with Craven with him. He wasn't coming to the city anymore, right? So I sold my house in the South End and moved in with Derek in Craven and bought the motor home and whatnot. And I didn't like it. And I've been analyzing the black box of our relationship for several months now. The reason why I didn't like Craven is just it goes against completely how I've been brought up, right? Living in the city, you insured your car, you like did things properly, legally, whatever, and you go to Craven and like nobody, like a DUI is like nothing in Craven. Like, oh, like everybody has a DUI, right? So it's just I really didn't want to be around that whole thing. And then also with Derek's job, working from like 5 till 1 in the morning, and then me having like a normal 9 to 5 job, we never saw each other. So I was like in this big empty house in an acreage, half an hour outside the city, and I was filling up my gas tank every 4 days like clockwork, and it was just not my thing. So I kept on saying, I don't like living here. I don't like living here. And Derek's point of view was like, you can live here for free. I don't understand why you don't like it. You got nature and whatnot, and you're not like 5 feet away from your neighbors and whatever. And it wasn't my thing. And I broke down and I was like, that's it. I'm buying another place in the city. I can't handle just living in this empty house in an acreage all by myself. So I bought this house, and I guess that was pretty devastating for Derek because it was like me moving out of his house. And the problem was is that the relationship crumbled simply because now Derek never needs to come to Regina ever. Like he just works in Craven and lives in Craven, so he never came here to visit me, right? And here I am, like, and then he's blaming me for leaving him. Well, I was not happy in Craven, right? So in June, I was like, I broke up. I was like, this really sucks. I can't do this anymore. And a couple weeks after that, I went into like a complete panic attack because, I loved Derek very much. And it really hurt me to like, not be with him anymore. But at the same time, I couldn't handle Craven. I just couldn't do it. And I was not happy there. I know I wouldn't be happy if I was still there. I was under the impression that we were broken up. I've told my family that we were broken up and whatnot. And then about 4 weeks ago, I I still got the motorhome in Craven, right? I'm just like leaving it there, and we had to move it because it was in the front of his yard, and we had to move it someplace. So it was kind of like, okay, should I like I can't move it here because it's 20 feet long, and you have to be 6 feet away from the sidewalk, so I can't park it on my driveway. And I could drive it to my dad's farm, but that's a lot of effort. And I know if it stays at the farm, it's just going to stay there and rot. It's not going to be good, right? So I went to Craven, and Derek basically said, well, let's just move it in the back of his property. And I'm like, sure, like, I can put it there and I don't have to worry about it. And Derek basically said he still had feelings for me. And I said, I can't handle this. Like, I can't come back into your life because I've told everybody in my family that we're no longer together. And I guess that was like a shock to him that like we haven't been seeing each other for like 4 months, but he thought we were still together. But anywho, so it's now officially over, and which kind of sucks. But at the same time, like, I don't know. I made like a lot of friends in the city, and they've been really supportive. My family's been really supportive. So for those of you who are wondering, like, why haven't you been making videos and whatnot, and it's like that's what it was. It was just a lot of emotional baggage and whatnot, and it's Regina and surrounding area. It's not a very big gay community, so you still have to be like friends with everybody and whatnot, right? So I'm not going to burn that bridge. And our relationship didn't work out now. It doesn't mean that life situations can change and maybe get back together in the future. I don't know. I have no idea, but I just know right now it's not going to work out with him living in Craven, working at Craven Bar with those crazy hours, and I can't live there. I know that. So that's what's going on with me. Oh my God, that was like so good to get out because I was like, I don't know, keeping it a secret. I think because it was a really good relationship, and it was kind of an embarrassment for me to like actually admit that it was over. But I don't know, like a fine piece of real estate. Apparently, I was like on the market, and everybody's like, "Oh my God, I want to go out with you and whatnot." And so I don't know, that made me feel really happy. I also had a big giant Halloween party yesterday. Invited a bunch of coworkers and whatnot. It was a huge turnout, and it was crazy. Like the house, like I have a big house, and it was just full of people everywhere. People in the family room, kitchen, basement was like beer pong. The garage, I went out there to like go visit because I said the garage is like the designated smoking area, so you don't have to like go outside and be noisy to the neighbors. The garage was like hotboxing. It was like completely and totally like I had to open the garage door to get the smoke out because it was just like blue haze throughout. But it was really good. Had a fun time. Anywho, so that's what's new with me. Yeah, and such is life, right? You just things coming and going, and it's all an experience and whatnot. So I'll keep you guys informed. If I don't show up, eventually I will. Eventually on YouTube. And we'll talk to you later. Take care. Bye-bye.